still have some time, and I thought, what if I give you guys some pros and cons about my job? For some of you who are maybe considering working as a concrete mixer driver. And I'm gonna keep these pros and cons super general and not so personal, because I know my position is different than other drivers because I am in a family-owned company. So it's different. Obviously, I can say one of the pros is that I work with my family, but obviously that wouldn't be the case for majority of you guys who are looking into driving. And I do want to mention, I probably glamorize my job a lot, and I mean, for me it is the way I make it seem fun, easy. It is fun and easy for me. I got a comment that made me realize that I may be influencing people into a job that they're not gonna like, because my experience is different than others who are gonna go work for a company where I'm working for my dad, so it's completely different. So I'm gonna keep it super general, not so personal, but obviously my pros and cons about this job that might help you guys make a decision whether if you want to work in this field or not. So let's get into it. So my first pro is probably the main reason why I love my job so much. Every day is a different day. I don't know how to emphasize this, but every day is seriously so different. And a lot of people argue that every day is the same day, but for me it's different because yeah, the process is the same of loading up and then washing out, but every day you're driving to a new site, seeing new things, meeting new people, seeing these new homes and neighborhoods. Every day is a new challenge with new surprises, but it's always fresh. It's never repetitive. Now, a major con is that day to day you're being exposed to so much dust and concrete powder and so many materials that you're not necessarily supposed to be breathing, which may cause long-term effect in your health and all of that stuff. So that's probably one of the major cons of working here, that you're in such an unhealthy environment. And depending how sensitive your body is and how it reacts to it, your body might be the one to decide if it wants to be in this environment or not. But obviously there's ways to protect yourself and take care of yourself, whether it's with the clothes you wear or wearing a mask, all of that stuff. The second pro, and one of my favorites, is that you're in an environment where you're learning real world stuff. And if you really want to, you could gain so much knowledge just by talking to people at job sites, whether it's contractors, inspectors, engineers. There's a lot of people that you're able to talk to, get advice. You're able to learn just by observing. You see so much, you learn so much, so many real world stuff. I've learned so much. So driving a mixer and being in this environment in the field, showing up to these job sites could be a great opportunity for you to network with people, connect with people, gain contacts, and can be the leverage for your next career if it is that you don't want to do this forever. So it's good. For me, being in this environment has got me closer to what I think might be my next career, which is going and getting my certifications to be a welding inspector, epoxy inspector. It's been very helpful being in the position I am because I get that insight. I get to go to these jobs and see these inspectors doing their job, and I get to see what they really do, and that helps me decide if I really want to do it without going and getting these certifications and then being in that field and realizing I didn't think it was what I expected it to be. Obviously with my job, I see them perform their job and I'm able to be like, okay, do I want to do that or do I not want to do that? Con number 2, you don't have a set schedule. This one really steers people away from this job because you just don't know when you're gonna get off, when you're gonna go in. Some days for me, I have an early day and I get off at 10, other days at 1, sometimes at 6, sometimes at 7. But the reason why this doesn't bug me is because I got this job knowing I was gonna work. So if I get off late, I don't really mind. If I get off early, that's a plus. Sometimes I don't even want to get off early. For the most part, what has helped me is I try to never make plans after work or during the week when I'm working, because there has been times where I have like a friend's dinner or I have an appointment for something after work and I start to feel like anxious because I know I have to be somewhere at a certain time. And well, with my job, you never know what's gonna happen. You don't know if maybe they're gonna get clogged up with the pump and then you have to be there a whole nother hour, or you don't know if maybe they needed a cleanup, so you have to go get that cleanup. You really just don't know, and you never have a set schedule of when you're gonna get off. For me, I'm okay with it. I feel like it does help me manage my time, and when I do have those days off, I feel like it's awesome. Like I'm able to do everything I have to do that I had on my to-do list. And I just have that mindset that if I'm working, like I'm working, you know, like I'm getting paid, so I can't be upset. Alright, I'm only gonna give one more con and one more pro. I had to look up pros and cons online because I literally couldn't think of another con. But the third pro is that I'm by myself most of the time. And that's something I really enjoy because I just always like being alone, independent, taking full credit and responsibility of my own work. I also just work better alone, and I especially don't want to feel the need to entertain someone. Don't like being distracted. So I definitely love being alone. It never gets boring. I'm never bored. Maybe other people get bored, but I'm never bored. I'm always doing something, whether it's editing, eating, cleaning my truck. I'm always doing something, so I'm never bored. But yeah, that's definitely a plus for me. And it might be different for others. I know a lot of people like being around people and communicating and cracking jokes. But obviously I'm not alone the entire day like those semi-workers that freaking drive out of state and they're literally alone the whole time. Maybe that is too much alone time. And that too, that's another pro. My job is cool because I'm able to get off the truck from time to time. I'm not always just sitting down. And I know if I was just sitting down, that would get a little bit boring. So it's like a good balance for me. And lastly, the third con, didn't know what third con to give you guys, but the con is that you get dirty. This is a very dirty job. You don't go home clean. Sometimes you go home with freaking color on your face like I do every day. There's days you go outside and it's super hot, so you go home super sweaty because you were outside like for 2 hours. Another little one I'll add in there is that when it's cold, the water hurts. Sometimes even so cold where your hand hurts to grab the hose and wash out. Another thing that sucks about the winter time is that it rains, and when it rains there's no work. That might be like a big downer for a lot of people too. For me it's okay because when it rains I don't like to be outside either way, and I don't like driving. But for a lot of people that is a con, like not being able to work. But yeah guys, I'm gonna end it off here. These are all my pros and cons. I hope this helped. I don't know, I feel like maybe I just love my job so much that I side more with the pros than the cons, and my cons just aren't that good to convince you that this job is just not for you. Honestly, there is a lot of cons, maybe just my mentality. I do everything with a smile on my face, so I feel like I'm very positive about everything. I really do advise you guys to look into it before you guys base your decision just on my experience. Now that I'm talking about this, I do also want to bring to light that as a girl, for me, I haven't had any really dangerous experiences. But I got this comment saying that maybe since I'm in a family business, I don't really get so many weirdos because everyone knows each other that I'm working with. So it's not like someone could come at me and tell me something because they usually already know my dad or an uncle or someone's related to someone, so it would get around. Whereas if another girl got her license and went to go work in a ready-mix company, they would probably be in a situation where maybe there is a weirdo and they do try to be weird with her and make her feel uncomfortable. And it sucks, but it's the truth. Like, I feel like, I mean, I don't get too much of it, or maybe I don't let myself get that because I show up very professional, but it might not be the case for other girls that are thinking about getting into this job. But yeah, I don't know how to explain it. I don't want to scare these girls off, but at the same time, I want you guys just to be like super cautious about what you're getting yourself into too. Really do think about it. But yeah, those are my pros and cons. I hope this helped you guys decide if this is something you guys actually want to get into or not. I want you guys to go get a license and then pay that money to get your license and just invest so much time and emotion into getting your license. And when you finally get your license in your job, you realize that you don't like it. When I was training, I literally rethought like getting my license. I was like, wait, I don't like this, you know? But that was because I was training. I felt like it was so hard for me and I didn't feel confident doing what I was doing, that I felt like, dude, did I make a mistake getting my license? Like, how do I tell my dad I don't want to do this? Like, I literally felt that way. But once I was by myself after those 2 weeks of training, I was like, okay, like, I love my job. And over time, like, I loved it and I loved it and I still love it. Like, 2 years in, I love my job. So sometimes too, I think you guys have to give it time. If you guys don't like something, just really give yourself time in that position or job to really think like, okay, do I like this or not? Like, at that time that I didn't like it and thought I was making a mistake, I was training. So I was in the truck with my dad. He was teaching me and calling me out on all my mistakes. So I felt like I wasn't doing anything right and I didn't feel confident. But now after I've learned my duties and I've learned my responsibilities driving this truck, I love my job. But okay, I'm gonna stop here because I've talked so much already and I have to load up now.